How many of you have heard the phrase, the kiss of death? Nobody wants to hear that little phrase, right? Oh, that was the kiss of death. While I'm making these videos, the NCAA March Madness is marching on. We have seen the first 2 rounds of March Madness take place, and there have been huge upsets. I mean, this was the first year ever a 16 seed beat a number 1 seed. Oh wait, some of you don't follow it and you don't understand what that means. Just think of it like this. David beat Goliath. I mean, the final second buzzer beaters, it's been amazing. And sometimes when I see that shot go through with 0.2 seconds and the underdog wins, I think, well, that's the kiss of death. It's over. But now ask yourself what it would be like if it was your teammate that shot the shot that caused your team to lose. I mean, they shot it for the other team, and that was the bucket that caused your team to lose. Ask yourself what it would feel like if your good friend walked into your boss's office and told stories about you, not truth, and your boss walked in and fired you. How would you feel? Well, basically what happened to Jesus, isn't it? He had chosen those 12 men, those 12 intimate disciples, and one of them was Judas. We talked about him a few days ago in these videos, but let's think about Judas a little more today and the people that rejected Jesus. Well, Judas was the main character, wasn't he? He had made the plot, he had made the plan, he had sold out Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. And he came to the garden that night leading an entourage of soldiers with their lanterns, because it must have been pre-dawn. And this whole group of angry soldiers came into the Garden of Gethsemane where Jesus had been praying. Oh, and his 3 disciples were supposed to have been praying, but remember, they were asleep. And Judas walked up to Jesus as the sign to the soldiers and kissed him. That's, I think, where we get the phrase, the kiss of death. Judas was willing to give a sign that was a symbol of friendship to betray Jesus into the hands of the enemy. Well, the story goes on that, he was before Annas and Caiaphas, a absolutely fake and false kind of trial. Then he went in front of Pilate because they had to take him to the Roman leader, remember, because they couldn't put Jesus to death. Only the Roman authorities could do that. So he took him to Pilate, and Pilate asked that one question that has penetrated the centuries. Remember it? What is truth? Pilate did his best to free Jesus. He kept saying, I find no fault in this man. I don't see anything wrong with this man. He's done nothing deserving of death. Pilate tried to dissuade the people of Israel, the leaders, and eventually the whole crowd of people to say, no, there's no reason to put this man to death. But they did. From Judas to the religious leaders, to the Roman authorities, to the common man, they all called for his death. On Friday, his death happened. We're going to look at that a little bit in another video, but I want you just this morning to think about how he came to his own, and his own did not welcome him. The hope of our Christian life is that Jesus came, died, and was buried and rose again. That's That's the whole essence. That's what Paul tells us. This morning, in this opportunity, I want you to ask yourself, would you have been the Judas, or maybe the religious leaders, or maybe even Pilate? I mean, Pilate's opinion was right. There's no fault. And so you have a good opinion about Jesus. But right now, at the end of this day, at the end of this week, at the end of this Easter season, you're still rejecting him? I mean, you don't have the hope of eternal life living in your heart. You've never thought about making sure that you're ready for eternity. Well, the kiss of death came, and Jesus was betrayed into the hands of his enemies, betrayed into the hands of his crucifiers. You know that we live in the 21st century, and Jesus is returning again. He's going to come back again. He's going to come one day to receive his people and to receive his church. He's coming again. And I wonder at times, will there be believers who are going to go up in the rapture, but if they could say to Jesus, could we just wait a day? I wonder if there'd be those kind of people. They're not really ready. They don't really want him to come back. They just would rather live life. The reality is, some of you are absolutely not ready. You don't want him to come. And if you had the opportunity, you would betray him to his enemies. Well, this morning, let's ask ourselves this question. Am I ready? Am I prepared? Am I one that's looking forward to the coming of Jesus? Because one day he's coming, and Jesus will receive us unto himself. Remember today, Jesus is coming again.